Every company you've ever trusted with your money has made you one silent promise. The assets are actually there. But what if they're not? We're living in an era where corporations are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets faster than you can say digital gold. And the uncomfortable question nobody's asking loudly enough is whether any of it is real. We're talking billions of dollars in reported holdings, shareholder letters filled with conviction, and press releases that read like scripture but without proof. It's just a story. Here's the catalyst. When a company buys Bitcoin, they're not just making a financial bet, they're making a custody decision, and those two things are wildly different animals. Think of it like buying a house, but never getting the deed. You can tell everyone you own property, but until your name is on paper, you own nothing but a feeling. The traditional finance world runs on audited financial statements and regulated custodians. And for decades, that system kept most of the bad actors out, or at least caught them eventually. But Bitcoin doesn't live in a bank vault. It lives on a blockchain. And that's either the most transparent system ever invented or the most misunderstood one, depending on who's holding the keys. There was a moment, not long ago, when the crypto industry collectively believed that being on-chain meant being honest. Then came the collapses, exchanges, funds, and firms that had perfectly confident balance sheets, right up until they absolutely didn't. And suddenly, the phrase proof of reserves went from being a technical footnote to a survival requirement. The psychological wound from those collapses runs deep, and it should, because the pattern was almost always the same. Public confidence, private chaos, and a spreadsheet that nobody outside the building was allowed to see. Independent audits done by credentialed firms with real liability on the line are the difference between a balance sheet and a bedtime story. So let's break down what you should actually be looking for. First, is the company using a third-party custodian like Fidelity Digital Assets, Coinbase Custody, or BitGo, all of which carry insurance and regulatory oversight? Second, are the private keys held in cold storage, meaning completely offline, or are they sitting on a hot wallet that's one sophisticated breach away from becoming a very expensive lesson? Multi-signature key setups, where multiple parties must authorize any transaction, are the industry's version of a bank requiring two managers to open the vault. It's not glamorous, but it's exactly the kind of boring security that keeps your billion-dollar Bitcoin position from disappearing overnight. If a company can't tell you whether they use multi-sig, that silence is an answer. Here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Bitcoin's blockchain is entirely public, meaning if a company publishes their wallet addresses, anyone with an internet connection can verify the balance in real time. No accountant required, no waiting for quarterly earnings, just the raw, unfiltered truth sitting on a distributed ledger. The irony is that most companies don't do this, which means they're voluntarily making an opaque product out of the most transparent financial instrument ever created. A proper proof of reserves audit combines two things: cryptographic verification that the wallets contain what's claimed, and an attestation that the company's liabilities don't exceed those holdings. Without both sides of that equation, you could have a company proving it holds 100 Bitcoin while conveniently omitting the 200 Bitcoin it owes to creditors, which is not transparency, that's theater. The misconception worth demolishing right now is the belief that being publicly traded automatically means your Bitcoin holdings are verified. It does not. A traditional audit confirms financial statements under generally accepted accounting principles. But auditors are not typically equipped or contractually required to perform on-chain verification, meaning the Bitcoin line item on a balance sheet can be accepted at face value without a single wallet address being checked. The practical lesson history has handed us, expensively, is this: demand on-chain verifiability before you demand anything else. Because a company willing to publish its cold storage addresses and submit to a credentialed proof of reserves audit is making itself accountable in a way that corporate speak simply cannot fake. Position your trust accordingly, not based on conviction or charisma, but based on process and verifiable evidence. Discipline here means not assuming good faith in the absence of proof, and sizing your exposure to any company's Bitcoin narrative relative to how transparent their custody disclosures actually are. The companies getting this right are setting a standard, and the ones avoiding the question entirely are telling you everything you need to know without saying a word. At the end of the day, Bitcoin was built to eliminate the need for blind trust. And the deepest irony is that the corporations adopting it are asking you to extend exactly that. Whether a company's holdings are real, verifiable, and safely custodied is not a detail, it's the entire ballgame. And rational preparation means knowing the answer before you have any skin in the game. If any of this has you thinking about building wealth through smarter, more transparent investments, check out our links in the description below, where we can help you get started whether in real estate investing, home contracting work, or finding the right lenders.